global fresh food market achieved positive growth of 2% in 2015, reaching 2.2 billion tons. At the same time, this was a slowdown on 2014 when the market grew by 3%. And this slowdown is due to slow performance of China, the major global market, and contracting markets in Russia and Brazil. The most dynamic global markets were Middle East and Africa and Asia Pacific. And we saw revival of consumer interest in fresh food in Western Europe and North America. Here we saw a return of home cooking, and consumers were viewing home cooking not only as fun and social activity, but also as a way to save money and reduce waste. Three fresh food categories, pulses, fish and seafood, and eggs, were the most dynamic in 2015, increasing between 3 and 4% in volume terms. Pulses is an important source of protein in the markets with large proportion of vegetarian population. For example, in India, which accounts for 56% of global pulses consumption, pulses grew by 5%, and that boosted overall global consumption. Fish and seafood continues to enjoy good growth in Asia Pacific because it's a staple there in many markets consumed every day. Latin America also posted good performance. But fish and seafood becomes an alternative source of protein to meat in Western Europe and North America as well. Eggs were particularly dynamic in Middle East and Africa, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. It is a cheap source of protein, and consumers there who cannot afford to buy meat were turning to eggs. Meat continues to decline in developed markets of Western Europe and North America, where consumers are increasingly health conscious and look to reduce their meat consumption. Many consumers are adopting flexitarian diets and alternating meat with fish and seafood and pulses and other plant proteins. If we look at per capita consumption of meat, we can see clear reduction in the intake. For example, average consumer in Western Europe was eating 2 kilograms of meat less in 2015 compared to 2010. And in the US, that indicator dropped by 1 kilogram within the same review period. In terms of retail value sales, all of our core markets showed positive dynamics in 2015, apart from two markets, Spain and Russia. Retail values were driven by premium products, value-added products that increasingly offer improved nutrition and also such credentials as organic and fair trade. We can see a lot of products that bring new variety of flavors, shapes, and sizes. We also see greater flavors because consumers wish to experiment at home and cook at home. Growers and retailers are responding with great variety and great offering.